self-realization, and to realize it. I've heard Ramana describe it in a couple different ways. On the one hand, he says the self is always ever realized. Who is ever going to realize the self? It's not possible.
That's right.
On the other hand, he speaks again and again that the only way to realize the self is to make tremendous self-effort to realize this. So it's not a conceptual thing that you can say, oh, I get that the self is already realized and now there's nothing to do. I'll just go on snorting cocaine and getting prostitutes every night because there's nothing to do. The self's already realized.
Yeah. Probably if the self is realized, those probably won't be your chosen activities. You know, I'm just guessing. I don't believe that would be what one would choose to do. I know in this body, well, it never was, particularly the thing that I was interested in.
Well, that's kind of why I picked something that kind of outlandish, because it's the idea of what is the difference then between someone who is living a life of being realized and someone who isn't? What's the marker?
Well, basically, it would be in the eye of the observer, because in truth, there are no differences. There just aren't. We pick up differences, and it's all part of samsara, the illusion, and it's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with this illusion. It's like playing in a wonderful computer game almost. It's, maybe a game of Monopoly, with you be the top hat and I'll be the race car, type of thing.
I like to be the little dog.
The little dog? Okay.
But that's not always been so much the case that it's that easy, and for me anyway, it hasn't been like a beautiful life of bliss and joy. It's been a hard life where many times there's been a feeling of not wanting to be alive, of being tremendously confused and just emotional, things happening. And so the thing is, it's now for you, it's like that, but at some point it wasn't that easy.
Yeah, that seems to be true. There's memories of this character having a rough time of it. Yeah, they're still here. You mentioned earlier about things, coming up out of, to the surface for examination. As if sometimes, I know for me it was surprising because I thought things were gone, that dissolved, I think was the word you used. And you only discover that it would come up again. And it's just of passing interest. Once the certainty of self-knowledge is present. When you ask about something happening suddenly or gradually, I would say that as each doubt dropped away, it seemed like there was this certainty that was underneath it. It wasn't something that wasn't there and then appeared. It was just this certainty of being that was gradually taken over. And it wasn't like I became myself. I think Ramana said there's no becoming being. You just are. You've always been this. Sometimes in satsang people will just go into a riot of laughter because they realize that they've never not been this.
I've heard that Ramana used the metaphor like to create space. It's enough to just remove the furniture in the room. You don't bring space in from elsewhere.
Beautifully put. Yeah. Beautiful.
So once that's seen, it's more an idea of, to put it into words, it's like ignorance is removed somehow. It's no longer a cloud.
That's the thorn removing a thorn. It's being used. talked to a lady today who basically, on the phone, who was basically just so against intellect. She just wanted to surrender. I couldn't argue with her because if she is in the surrendered state she claims to be in, why bring the intellect into it? On the other hand, if thoughts are arising and discomfort is arising with the thoughts, then the intellect can be used as the thorn, to remove the intellectual fixation, the fixedness that's causing us to stay in suffering. I know now emotions still come through this body, but they kind of just flash through. If a story doesn't get started about the sensation flashing through the body, it's just through so quickly that there's no getting stuck in it. This is, I think, after a lot of self-inquiry, or living your life as a question. And there is a natural curiosity, so it doesn't have to be like a strategy to live your life as a question. Once self-concern drops away, it's like you look around and there's just this natural curiosity, and you look within, it's a result of a natural curiosity. And, it seems to come with the body. The curiosity is here. I find myself looking at my hands and my legs and everything, and it's, they're not the same instruments that were there when I was in my 20s. Everything's changed, and yet I don't have any sense of them being me. It's very different now in that way.
So does it make you kind of appreciate the manifestation more, like the appearance? Does it make you kind of fall more in love with it?
It's a hell of a show, but it's like, and it's very, very, very interesting. And it could end right now and it would be okay.